I really didn't understand what Trig and Marcus really thought they were going to accomplish by leaking the tape of Douda, beating Marcus half to death. He's casually mentioning about killing someone in front of Tracy. I think showing leaking that tape where Tracy sees, Douda or Otis as she calls him, seeing a tape of Otis, beating Marcus half to death. I feel like that really should have no effect on their relationship. It's like you're dealing with a gangster who caught bodies before, and so that whole, part about Tracy trying to all of a sudden have concern and this cause of concern for like, where is Q? What really happened to Q? You know damn well what happened to Q. He casually told you what he was going to do to Q in the last episode. So. Hey, what's going on, folks? Another episode of Just My Opinion with Ryan, and we are talking about the finale of The Chi. I thought overall this was a great episode. You see it pop up, you know what to do. Very appreciative for all my followers or subscribers, and let's just keep running it up. I'm very grateful. I would love to hit that 1,000 subscriber mark, so let's get it. Once again, I can't stress enough how grateful I am. For those who are unfamiliar with how I approach certain shows, I may not go in chronological order. I may just, jump around from different storylines that caught my eye for whatever reason. And in this case, I want to just knock out some of the more unimportant storylines that I felt. And we'll very quickly get into the meat and potatoes of what I thought about this finale. The whole Kevin storyline with him wanting to move out of his parents' home, I feel like that's definitely some filler. I feel like that storyline is kind of pointless. It was almost as if like the writers of season 5, somewhere along the way, they just was running out of ideas on what to do with Kevin, and they just said, you know what, let's throw the idea out of having him move out. Maybe I'm just judging it a little too early. We'll see how that goes. But the main reason why I say that is because when he brings it up to like Lene is like, yo, you'll be 18 before you know it. Why don't you just wait till you're 18? And his whole rebuttal is just like, but I want to now. So, and of course he already approached his parents towards the end of the episode and told them what it is about him filing paperwork for it and all that type of stuff. But I don't know. I just really feel like it's kind of pointless. It's almost like being a senior in high school and you drop out at the beginning of the year, and it's like you already took it this far, you might as well just stick it out. But anyway, I think some of the very key figures in this episode or highlights to me was Douda, and then just a good bunch of nice love stories. So let's tackle Douda in this episode first. For starters, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it's like personally, but I would imagine that it would suck. But riding around with a guy, and then at some point or another, you find out that he has a dead body in the trunk, that would ruin my day. So he just, brings Trig in the mix, so he has something to lose. It's kind of like, apparently Trig and Douda had no choice but to dump the body. And I really felt like I really felt like Douda, this episode was, it wasn't like, how can I put it? I think this was kind of like the very beginning, he's setting up his coming out party. I'll put it that way. And what I mean by that is, I think season 6, we'll get maybe a somewhat of a heavier dose of Douda in season 6. And just some of the moves he was making in this finale, just explains that. He already brought in Trig, whether he liked it or not, on dumping Q's body. And Douda did some heavy recruiting this episode. So you definitely got to get more of a heavier dose of Douda. He already is recruiting Rob, because and I did like how that storyline tied in. Apparently, Rob, played by Amon Shumpert, Rob is apparently the nephew of Q, so they tie that in very nicely. He approaches Emmett, when he's trying to close his restaurant, and says he's interested in expanding. So I'm definitely worried about Emmett, especially being that I really felt like he has made the turn for the better from season 1 to now. So I don't see that being a good situation for Emmett for obvious reasons. And then he recruited a young boy, Bakari, just to simply be his eyes and ears on the street. And I felt sad for Bakari too, like, Douda's new henchman who used to work for Q, brought up the idea about bringing Bakari on in the first place. Douda hands him just like a wad of money, which I guess has to be like a few thousand or whatever. And I felt sad for Bakari because he takes a very long time to like take the money, and I feel for him because it's like, just in the previous episodes, he was talking about how he wants to be an author, and he was building up with these positive vibes with Shad. And I really just felt like he was really thinking about the choice that he was about to make. And hopefully it doesn't cost Bakari his life or anything like that next season. But I definitely see that this is going to be a negative effect on Bakari. It's almost like when he was taking a few positive steps forward, he took more of a negative step back, messing with Douda. So I think these three men who now have dealings with Douda, my concern is definitely on a higher alert for these guys. Once again, it's Rob, Emmett, and Bakari for obvious reasons. Another thing that I thought was kind of funny in the Douda with this episode is I really didn't understand what Trig and Marcus really thought they were going to accomplish by leaking the tape of Douda, beating Marcus half to death. And the reason why I don't see the point of that is because I know they said, maybe leaking this tape would turn Tracy off to Douda, maybe inspire Tracy to further stay away from Douda. But if you remember, I think it was just the last episode before he killed Q. He was just casually just talking about his game plan with Tracy, and just casually threw in that he's going to kill Q while he's at it. And Tracy didn't blink an eye. It's not like she was this overly emotional, like, oh my goodness, why are you going to kill? It was just like, I felt it was more of a casual, that's that's the father of my kid. And yes, the dude I did say some rude shit by saying, well, your kid's not here anymore. But my point is, it's not like she had this, shock and awe of like, damn, you're gonna catch a body? It couldn't, even if it wasn't Q, it could have been anybody. Like, he's casually mentioning about killing someone in front of Tracy. I think showing, leaking that tape where Tracy sees, Douda or Otis, as she calls him, seeing a tape of Otis, beating Marcus half to death, I feel like that really should have no effect on their relationship. It's like you're dealing with a gangster who caught bodies before, and so that whole, part about Tracy trying to all of a sudden have concern and this cause of concern for where is Q? What really happened to Q? Damn well what happened to Q. He casually told you what he was going to do to Q in the last episode. So I did find that kind of funny. Even though I'm sure it wasn't meant to be funny. And also, I did like how Emmett and Tiff are really learning how to co-parent without any type of issues, no type of bitterness. It warmed my heart to see all four parents at the teacher parent conference, and it warmed my heart because it's like EJ is the focus. Whatever, adult BS y'all have between each other shouldn't matter. EJ is the focus, and they're all just concerned about, how is EJ's progress in class. So I thought that was very dope. I feel like another Easter egg that was given in this episode was perhaps Kiesha will be a teacher's aide or be academic, involved in, with, teaching elementary school kids moving forward. I feel like that was kind of a big hint as well, especially how that student parent teacher conference ended. But more importantly, I feel like these four adults are really learning that, we can act like mature adults and just keep it about the kids, be cordial with each other and make sure the kids are important. I thought it was very dope. Tiffany approached Kiesha and wanted to apologize about trying to get Emmett and had to admit that she was just jealous. It's not like she even wants Emmett like that, which we all knew. So I liked how they kind of just wrapped that up there. And of course, still with the whole Emmett and everybody else storyline, Kiesha clearly has some concerns because towards the end, he clearly took the deal with Douda because he bought that very expensive painting from Deja's art gallery and explained to Kiesha how he got it. He's in business with Douda. And so even Kiesha knows this can't be good news. You know what I'm saying? So I thought that was very dope. And so from the art gallery, let's go to Deja. Another very, very fast and quick storyline. I felt sorry for Deja. Of course, there was a somewhat, I guess, not minor, but a pretty pretty moderate spat that Shad and Deja had when Chad was clearly flirting with Tierra while Deja's in the basement. And I never forget, I read a tweet, I forget who said it, so I apologize, but it had me dying. I'm a butcher it, but it was something to the fact of like, imagine me waiting on somebody who lives in the basement and I overhear him, flirt with another girl upstairs. It was like, I'd be out so fast. So not to shame Shad's, the character of Shad or anything like that, but it is kind of funny. It's like, imagine me about to, getting my feelings over someone who lives in the basement of another adult. Which I know what happened. Like, at the time, it was funny if you saw the tweet. But of course, Shad, withheld with the type of confession he wanted to say to Deja after Deja invites him to move in with her. So we'll see where they end up come season 6. And of course, let the best story, well, the two best stories for last, in my opinion, is good old Darnell and Jada. I thought that was very, very beautiful about the wedding. The wedding was very beautiful. I damn near teared up just because, not because it was like this overly emotional scene, but I damn near teared up off of the actor who portrays Darnell. The performance he gave with the shaky voice and him about to cry while saying his vows. And the reason why I say that is because it's like, just imagine, the person that you realize is the love of your life, you let down so many times, and you finally get that chance to do the right thing, and you are at a much more mature place yourself. Yeah, I'm sure that would bring some emotion out of somebody who can really relate or who's really been in Darnell's shoes. So I thought that's why I really felt for that character. It was like, I really get a chance to make it right despite all my screw ups in the past, and I am going to do right by that woman. So I thought that was very dope. Beautiful surprise that he surprised by buying the house. Quite the gamble, especially since Jada had no idea about the house until after the wedding. But that was a very beautiful storyline. Love wins. I thought it was very cool. And of course, we ended with Trig. I was about to be annoyed at first with the whole Fatima and Trig thing because, as I said before, whenever you see them in a room, it's the same dialogue for like the past 4 or 5 episodes. I'm not a fetish. I'm tired of you keeping me in the dark. This, that, and the third. But so I was kind of getting annoyed because that's what was kind of going at first, and then Fatima throws kind of a twist by saying, I'm definitely going to support your announcement. Well, I have to cover it because I'm a journalist. But after your announcement, I'm gonna leave town. And then that's when the gears really started churning, and we see at the end, Trig just gets rid of the whole facade of the beard, tiara, all of that, and just be like, just came clean with everything. Like I said, you ain't got a lot to kick it. He finally took Shad's advice, who was telling him that from the get-go. And of course he kisses his girl at the end of the show. Roll credits. So I thought that was dope the way it ended. Once again, not to damper on that scene a little bit, but now granted, not everyone in Chicago knows who Trig is. But for those who do know him, like they're familiar with Imani. Imani, is a trans woman. And so, like I'm sure, like, for example, if you personally knew Trig and you've seen it with Tiara, like you probably, would probably like, yeah, I don't know what the fuck is going on with Trig. Everybody knows that, that which he had no shame in anyway. He has no shame in being with trans women. So I don't know why this was a big deal in the first place. I mean, granted, let me walk that statement back. Granted, I know, it was all for political campaign purposes, but being that the fact that it's 2022 and we've had, openly, gay, whatever your sexual orientation is, whether, whatever you're into, we've had people be elected in those, political positions. So, so I'm glad to see that he just got rid of that whole pretend charade show in the first place. The very minor story that I know I forgot about, but it's so quick and minor. I even like the decision that it's a very bold decision. Gemma is a very dope character. The actress who plays Gemma she's been great. Everyone's been great in my opinion on The Chi. But I did like how she made that bold decision. Like, you know what? I don't think college is for me anymore. I want to put, my college fund into investing in Maisha. And I like the compromise that Marcus was able to meet her at. Like, look, I'll give you a portion of your college funding and give you a year to see if things progress with Maisha. And if it doesn't, you go back to school. I felt like that was fair. But folks, if you haven't heard by now, they have been renewed for season 6. So we'll definitely see a lot more of Douda. Very scared for Rob, Emmett, and Bakari. And that's what it is. Love it or hate it, folks. These are just my opinions. Peace.